Welcome back to another episode of You Asked For It, the show.
How do I get questions?
Gosh. The show where you send us questions and we spend time talking about them.
When is this bit going to get old?
But
right now? Already?
right,
It's old?
Did it die just now? Like this guy just so aggressively screamed into my face.
Yes.
The way you can send us questions for these episodes, the easiest way, it should be obvious, just comment on this video with a question for next week. However, if you have a question that maybe you don't want your name attached to, you can send us an email, which is contact@accesschurchonline.org, or you can send us a Facebook message, Access Church, with your question that way. We talk about something new every single week, and we'll talk about anything.
They would have to form like a generic Gmail address, though.
What do you mean?
Otherwise, we'd know who it's from still.
No, I'm saying if they don't want the general public
Oh, the general public to know.
To read the YouTube
okay.
comments and see like, oh, so-and-so was asking about STDs.
Gonorrhea again. Okay.
You know what I mean?
It's not a laughing topic, by the way.
So if you send, we typically don't read off names of who sent these anyway. So, but if you don't want people to know it was your name and your question, just send us an email or a Facebook message. But anyway, we have a question for this week. And this is kind of just a blunt question, but I'm going to add to it a little bit.
All right.
So the general question is, do you believe in ghosts? And what I'm going to add to it is, why or why not? Just so we can keep this. Otherwise, we could just say yes or no, and this episode would be over.
Oh, it's the show. We're going to get 100% watch rate, though, if we just do that.
No kidding.
End at 4 minutes.
It's a 90-second long episode.
So if I say I don't believe in ghosts, does that mean I don't believe in Ghostbusters either?
Who are you going to call?
Well, who am I going to call then? If I don't believe in them, who am I going to call? Anyway, go ahead.
Who wants to start this one?
I'll let Shane take this.
I'll go
one
last.
first.
Okay, Dave.
He's gonna let me go
Dave,
first.
you get to go first. I'll go, and then Shaheen can go.
Do I believe in ghosts?
He's going to make us go first because either he doesn't want us to like backpedal off of like what he says, or he wants to do the same to us. So
Do I believe in ghosts? No. No, I do not. I've never encountered a ghost. I've never...
just because you haven't seen it doesn't mean it's not real.
That's true.
You're telling me Santa Claus isn't real?
So...
You need to have a talk here.
We're going to have to come to my office after this.
The
Okay.
Easter Bunny and the
break
Tooth
your
Fairy.
heart.
So that's why, because you've never seen one, you don't believe in them.
Yeah.
Have you ever seen Jesus?
No, but I've experienced him. So I know he's real.
You've never experienced anything creepy or evil?
Yeah, but I never attributed it to, that
Ghosts.
was a ghost. You know? I just haven't. No.
Okay.
No. I do not believe that exists. I believe there is a spiritual realm, but I don't believe in ghosts.
You don't think that humans are in that spiritual realm?
No. No.
What's in that spiritual realm?
Not humans.
Okay. So that's your answer then?
Yeah.
No, you do not believe in them?
No.
Because you've never seen one?
I've never... Yeah,
You've never experienced
had any
it.
interactions with one.
Yeah.
Never sat down and played cards. Or
Well, what do you
so.
think about like ghost hunters then? People that, paranormal hunters that go out and seek this type of
There's
stuff.
lots of stuff that doesn't make sense. People root for the Packers. I mean,
Oh my gosh.
They must be demon possessed.
makes sense of this.
Good turn.
So,
Okay. I do believe in ghosts, and I'll explain a little bit. But this is kind of the way I view it. Is I believe that there's human ghosts. However, I think it's all from like an evil realm. If that makes sense, because I know, and some people may not love this answer. And again, this is just my opinion and the way that I view things. Okay. This is not signed, sealed, delivered, the true facts of life, but this is just the way I view it. Some people will say, well, so-and-so in my family died, and I know that they stick around and they, they're just here to check up on us and they're here. I don't believe that any ghost that does stick around can be coming from heaven, if that makes sense. So I think it's all of like an evil realm, because I feel once you go to heaven, there's no way you're coming back. You know what I mean?
Nor would you want to.
I don't think people that
Nor would you
I don't
want
think
to.
people that go to heaven can communicate with people that are, still here on earth, or so that's kind of the way I view it. Is I do believe in ghosts, but I think everything from that spiritual realm is of an evil energy, if that makes sense.
Okay.
All right, well, that's the end of the episode. If you want to come back next week, we'll have another question.
Let's get yours. All right.
I would ask this person what their definition of ghost is, because I think there can be several definitions out there.
Sure.
I would assume, and this is just an assumption, that they're talking about your typical human floating through
Casper
a hallway.
the Friendly.
Yes.
Yeah. If you are talking about a human spirit still being present and active in this world, I do not believe that's possible. There is no scripture to support that idea. And even beyond that, Jesus told a story. There's arguments over whether this is a parable or a real story. I tend to think it's a real story because of the context he's talking in, and he uses a name, Lazarus. In all the other parables, he never uses a name. So I believe this is a real story. The rich man and Lazarus, you can find in some of the gospel accounts, but it's where a guy goes to hell and begs, can I please go back and tell my brothers? Can I please rescue them somehow? Can I communicate with them in some sort of way? And no is the answer. They have the law. They have everything they need to help them believe and save them from the place you ended up.
Yep.
And basically the answer is no, you can't do anything to it. And the reverse is true. We're not going to send Lazarus from heaven back. either. So I do not believe it is possible for a human spirit to stick around here on earth. I don't believe in purgatory. I don't believe in any way is it possible for loved ones or family members to communicate with you once they're gone. And I know sometimes that's where we find a lot of strength. And so I don't want to like try and shatter your world.
Yeah.
But I do believe, biblically speaking, that is impossible. Now, do I believe that God can communicate with us to show us a sign or something that might remind us of them? I think absolutely he can. But I would just caution any sort of belief in a dead person communicating with us. Because once you open that door, then you can get into all sorts of sorcery and witchcraft and just
can get dark real quick.
Completely wrong things. It is, biblically speaking, it is impossible for a dead human being to communicate back with us. On the reverse side, I do believe evil spirits can do the same thing. And that's where I think these ghost hunter shows and horror movies in general, I tend to not watch.
Yep.
I do believe very much that there's a spiritual realm. I think humans are spiritual too.
Yeah.
I just think once we're dead, our spirit goes to one of two places, and then we're
That's
stuck
it.
there.
Yep.
Other agents, demons, angels, all that stuff can be present and working in our world today. And that's where I think that we see a lot of these supernatural things happening are demons and evil spirits.
And that's kind of typically where my head goes. Is
Yeah.
anytime something like that is, if you think you saw a ghost or you think, I always go on the side of it's coming from an evil background.
Yeah.
Because I don't think anything.
It is not a human.
I don't think anything like from God, from heaven, or I don't think you're going to see any of that. You're not going to be able to communicate with any of that.
Yeah.
I think so. All these, ghost hunters or this or that, I believe wholeheartedly that every single piece of it comes from an evil background.
Yeah. Any of that weird sort of stuff. I've had at least 2 encounters with, I would call them demons before. Both of them were incredibly frightening. I mean, like, I don't even want to think about it. It was that scary. But I've also had some encounters on the other side too, where like, okay, I know that was God moving in a supernatural.
And that's what I feel too,
sort
is
of
when
way.
you think of a supernatural, like a positive feeling, I've always known that it's God. I've never once thought like, oh, that was
my grandma.
so-and-so talking to me, or I I felt, you know, the presence of my loved one, or like I've always known that it's God, just because I think I know that.
I just want to go back and hit that again, because I know, you know, especially people that have a different
for sure
religious background, even within the Christian tradition, that communicating with your loved one's idea does give a lot of people comfort, you know, and that's what they hold on to, and they're, you know, even 20 years later still dealing with that loss. So I don't want to say that as, again, not to like break your world or crush anything, but I would say rather than looking to a loved one who's gone, look to God instead. You know, I don't see anywhere in the Bible where we can communicate with a dead human being, or a dead human being can communicate with us. So we have a much better source to give us strength and peace and hope and ability to move forward and calm our fears and take away our sadness. Like, so.
Yeah. And I mean, you kind of already said it, but if you are kind of in that situation where you think like, oh, my late dad or my grandfather or so-and-so, I know that they've been in the house and they're checking up on us, and like, this is, you know, I found this here or that there. Like, I would just caution, like, even mentally allowing yourself to go down that alley, because it can get dark quickly. I personally feel so.
Totally agree.
It's most likely not from a good background what you're experiencing. So
probably not. Nope. So there you go. So no, and there was why.
there you go. Okay, so hopefully that that answers it somewhat.
That's a good question, though.
Yeah, at least with our opinions. That's pretty much what this show is. This is what we think. This is how we feel. So if you want to take it with a grain of salt, take it with a grain of salt. But anyway, send us some questions for next week. Again, we talked about that. Easiest way to do that, just comment on this video with a question for next week. We'll talk about just about anything. We like doing this. So make sure to like, subscribe, and we'll be back next week. Talk about some more questions. Have a great week.
See ya.